When I go back there and start working on this, I will remember these stories and be able to tell them. Oftentimes I tell the stories from all over Minnesota when I'm on the Senate floor, and so many people don't do that because I don't think they often meet everyone, and I think it's much more effective to get things done. I wanted to first of all recognize Representative Tim Faust, who's here. Thank you for stopping by. And then also I want to especially recognize Alan and Karen from Todd County, because they've been good friends for so long, and talk to me a little bit about the dairy farming, and have been so long involved. And then also wanted to mention the Farmers Union and the Farm Bureau, and thank you all. One of the good things about working on the Farm Bill last time was how well the groups worked together. And I know you have different memberships and different people involved, but it was very helpful that people came in as a unified cause, because if we were going to take on some of the interests against us, we really had to work together. So thank you for that. What I got out of this was, first of all, when I get back there and talk to Bill Sick again, I talked to him just this week about some other things, but I'll call him as soon as I get back, and that is that to get these checks out as soon as possible. I appreciated Larry's description of this and how it all works, and certainly the more we can expedite the money getting to all of you, the better. Also, the Dairy Support Program, and I can't wait. I think I'll talk to Colin sometime the next 2 days to get his perspective on this, but this CME standard versus the CCC and how it doesn't make any sense. And I just think anything that we can do to help, and Stacy mentioned it's short-term versus long-term, but fixing some of these things in the short term would be helpful. So I'll talk to him about that. The nutrition programs, we were able to do that effectively with pork, and I know it tends to have been tilted toward those kinds of products, but we'll see if we can stretch it. That's what all the senators, we asked to do that with the nutrition programs. And you also should know we're doing the nutrition standards this year for school lunches and things like that. That will be the one big bill we're working on the Ag Committee, so that's a longer term goal of trying to make sure that we include as many dairy products and milk as possible and how we do that. And then finally the export barriers, and some of the people have talked about that. I'm actually chairing a subcommittee on commerce, the Commerce Committee. I'm also on the Commerce Committee in addition to Ag, and it's about competitive innovation and promotion of exports. And so hopefully we can get into some of those issues as well. Finally, I've heard about this methane tax. I just wanted to tell you I'm completely opposed to that. I just found it absurd, and I think it sort of got out on the transom because someone had proposed it, probably over in the House of Representatives, not in the Senate. And so it doesn't seem to have any grounding at all in the Senate. I even noticed that Chuck Schumer did a press release against it, so in the state of New York. So I think that should be fine. Rural broadband was raised, and that's something that I worked really hard on in the stimulus package. We got $7 billion in grants growing out, many of them to rural parts of our state. Just recently I was in Staples in that area and heard about their internet issues, and as I look in the swath where the dairy country is that Stacy just handed out, I heard a lot about the rural broadband issues there, and it's going to be really hard to compete if you're trying to, sell things and do things if you've got such slow internet service. So that's a lot of money coming in. It's going to be done with partnerships and applying for grants. But one of the reasons I came back and advocated so hard for it was what I heard in rural Minnesota. So those are some of the things that we're working on. I want to again thank you for being willing to come all this way. Dave is going to stick around and hear more so that he will give me a full report of anything that I missed, and this will be my top ag priority when I get back on Monday. There's a lot of things going on, but we have a good, strong coalition of senators with a lot of clout who care very much about this issue. And I think it'll be one of the first pushes that we have with this new Ag Secretary, in addition to getting all these appointments done that we want to get done so we can get moving in the Ag area. So thank you so much for being here and for caring enough and for knowing. I know I'm just hearing these stories how tough it must be to go out there every morning when you're doing the same work and you're working so hard, and then these things happen with the global economy outside of your control because Japan decides to do one thing or some other country decides to do another. You just have to remember that you're in it for the right reasons, that you're a major part of our state and our jobs, and that we care very much about you, and you have a friend in Washington and me. Thank you very much.